Hi, it's me, Vicky Marie. So, okay, first thing I want to do is thank this channel, the 411. She is also one of my subscribers, one of my members, and she's got a very interesting channel. Quite often puts things up that are very, very interesting. So, go over there and have a look and maybe give her a subscribe. Now, she put up she shared this article from the Daily Mail. That's what started off me thinking, really created this video in a way, because it's what started me something to think about the River Wyre itself. Nobody's really, we've been there, I've been there, other people have been there, we've looked at it, we've seen what, made our own opinions about whether we think a body could be there for all that length of time without being found by all those people that were looking. And also, but I suppose we've not really looked into thoroughly or properly what would it, what is its record of killing people, of people dying accidentally or otherwise in this river. So I thought, I'll read you the article first of all that attracted 411's attention, which in turn attracted my attention and started it all, started the research that I've done for this video. And what I did notice while I was researching is the Daily Mail Online have made this. When did they actually make this? Is there a date? Oh, it was 2016. But there are lots of different articles from lots of other newspapers online, or when I actually put in the UK's most dangerous rivers, how many people have died in UK's rivers, the River Wyre never comes up at all, and in fact to find out what, if anything, had happened on the River Wyre, I had to actually ask that. It didn't come up in any of the most dangerous rivers in the UK, let's say. So this is the river that always comes up in all the articles that I found. This river, so if you're in Yorkshire, apparently is the world's, they're saying the world's most dangerous stretch of water, an innocent looking river in Yorkshire. How the Strid's currents will pulverise anyone who falls in against rocks. So the narrow Strid in Yorkshire reportedly has 100% fatality rate. Goodness me. So in other words, it seems that anyone who goes in it doesn't come out of it alive. So it's said to have a deadly combination of fast currents and underwater rocks. Anyone going for a swim in it risks being pulverised. It's been claimed, and vortices in the flow will trap bodies under the water, says an environment expert. Okay, so before we carry on, I just want to say thank you to everyone. I always forget to do my proper introductions. Thank you to everyone who's subscribed. Thank you to everyone who's liked my videos, shared. Anyone who's joined my channel. Remember, Thursday nights are the members only live chats. I want to thank everyone who's bought me a Ko-fi, sent me a super chat, anything you've done to support my channel. If you just sit at home and watch my videos, even if you don't subscribe, or if you don't like participating in the chat when I go live, thank you so much anyway for watching. I really appreciate it more than you think. Okay, and of course, the reason we're looking at rivers is the Nicola Bulley case. And I must remember to always give a little summary of what happened to Nicola Bulley, because some people, I get new subscribers every day, so some people may not know about this case. But Nicola Bulley, the 45-year-old mother of 2 girls, went walking her dogs at the end of January, just like in a normal routine. Her dog, only one dog, Willow, and disappeared off the face of the earth for 23 days, when unfortunately she was found deceased in the river, quite a long way away from where it's thought that she went into the water. The ensuing inquest came to a verdict of accidental death, but I'll put the playlist, my Nicola Bulley playlist, in the description box. So I can't go into all the ins and outs now because it would take. But I keep saying I'm going to do a Nicola Bulley, whole day live one day, to start from the beginning and go through all the things. There are so many discrepancies in this case, so many, and that's why people are not. It's unusual for the public to not accept official verdicts. It's unusual, and they're not accepting it in this case. And this is a case that's unique in that. So this is why we've got a report coming out very soon, this month or next month, November, from the police, sort of looking into its own sort of investigation. And a lot of us, we're waiting to see what the result of. We feel like we know what the result of it will be. It'll be no further action, nothing to see here, and that's when I think complaints will start up again. I think everybody's waiting for that, and every now and again, just reviewing over different things that may have some bearing on this case. And to me, it's that you put all the things together and they don't add up, and if they don't add up, if things don't make sense, they're probably not true, and nothing in this case makes sense. Okay, so going back to the Strid, sorry, I should call it. So yeah, if you live nearby the Strid, you have to be very careful, apparently, because apparently it looks very innocent. It's actually, the river itself is called the River Wyre. And they're saying it makes a lovely spot for a picnic or a walk, but it has a dark side, a stretch of water that it's claimed is the most dangerous in the world. And it's when it narrows, it's not the whole river, it's when it narrows at a point called the Strid near Bolton Abbey, which is said to have a deadly combination of fast currents and underwater rocks. Now, the river that Nicola Bulley went missing in, the River Wyre, does not have this. The reason that this this video, if you like, that decided to do this video, because it made me start looking into different rivers and how does the River Wyre compare as far as dangerous rivers are concerned. And basically, it seems like it doesn't. It's not a dangerous river. But anyway, let's go back to it. So it narrows at a point called the Strid near Bolton Abbey, which is said to have a deadly combination of fast currents and underwater rocks. Occasionally people jump across here, but falling in apparently means certain death. Well, the answer is don't jump across, my goodness. They claim that it's the deadliest stretch of water in the world. This claim is made by British fact seeker Tom Scott on a recent YouTube video. Oh my God, not YouTube, not social media. Oh my God, I thought that you couldn't believe anything you read on social media or saw on social media. Just amuses me how mainstream media uses social media when it suits them to back up what they want to say. And the same as we do on social media using mainstream media. But, it's ironic, really, I think. Anyway, he explains that at the Strid, the river turns on its side, gouging out passages and tunnels. Here, a mass of deadly currents would mean that anybody who fell in could be pulverized against the rocks under the water over and over again. they may not come out in a recognisable form, he says. Although the river has claimed a lot of lives, it's not statistics that make the Strid the world's most dangerous stretch of water, Scott says, but the fact that its threats lie beneath a calm and tempting surface. Well, you know, I think that's typical of a lot of rivers, isn't it? You don't know what's underneath. So this is where, so if you live anywhere around here, please don't go anywhere near the Strid part of the River Wharf. Anyway, and then there's a couple of stories, etc. So I think that was the article that sort of brought it to 411's notice. And that's what made me start to look at rivers, etc. in general. So where am I going to go from that? So I googled the UK's most dangerous rivers, and up on Sky History these came up. The Strid, again, the first one, the most dangerous river is the Strid. The Thames flood. Oh, these were things that had happened. That's right. So the History Channel came up with things that had happened that dangerous. So it mentioned the Strid as being Britain's most dangerous river. Then it talked about the Thames flood. Then it talked about the River Ouse, which sort of relates to Vikings, pestilence, and the Ouse. That's another river that's got a bad reputation. The River Tay disaster. Sorry, I should tell you where, you know where the Thames is. Probably Thames is in London. The Ouse is in the Humber. The River Tay, which connects Dundee and the new port of Tay, where apparently there was a huge accident. The SS Princess Alice. So it's not really talking about the rivers themselves. It's talking about disasters on rivers, I suppose. How is that the UK's most dangerous river? Anyway, never mind. So just again, the Strid came up first. Then let's see, where did I go after that? Okay, then I found Britain's 6 most dangerous rivers, or England's 6 most dangerous rivers. God. And it seems that, so it starts off from number 6 instead of starting from number 1, but never mind. So number 6 is the River Medway, which flows through southeast England. Number 5 is the Bristol Channel, named after the city of Bristol. And they've got number 4 as this River Wharf, the Strid. So they haven't got, well, I don't know if these are in a particular order, but they haven't got it as number 1 or number 6. So, yeah, they don't seem, unless they're just doing the 6 of them, not actually putting them in order. The River Trent, which is in Trent, I suppose. Don't really know where Trent is. The River Dart, that's a beautiful picture, isn't it? I'm one of my students. She often goes, she lives in Dartmouth, and she often goes canoeing, kayaking and swimming in the River Dart, though it says here it's one of the most dangerous rivers. It says it's known for its canoeing and kayaking. However, East and West Dart are best not to be paddled. Then we've got the River Severn, which is the longest but the most dangerous river in England. Oh no, so they're saying that the River Severn is the most dangerous river in England. Anyway, one thing we do know is the River Wyre is not on that list. So where did I go then after that? So I looked for 6 most dangerous rivers in England. I've just done. Yeah, and then so then I googled the most dangerous rivers in the UK according to deaths. And that's when the Strid came up again. This is the Lad Bible. And it talks about the Strid on which is in the stretch of the River Wyre up near Bolton Abbey in North Yorkshire. And Strid means turmoil, and that's exactly what you'd be in if you went into it. Yeah. So, yeah, they talk about the River Strid. So again, we've got the Strid, but still no Wyre River. Okay, the next thing that I found as I was sort of looking into the just really what's the word? I was just really looking around for information about rivers and seeing if anything came up about the Wyre, you know, being a particularly dangerous river. And bearing in mind that I know my brother, he does a lot of canoeing and kayaking, and he doesn't take interest in true crime or anything. But even he said to me at the time when it happened, he could not believe that they thought that that could have happened in that river, because he knows rivers and he said it's not a dangerous river. But anyway, that's just anecdotal. Now, what I then found as I was looking around was apparently there is a drowning prevention day, which I don't know if it actually says the date on here. Of 25th of July is World Drowning Prevention Day, and their slogan, as you can see, is anyone can drown, no one should. And what I thought this would be interesting to sort of look at is the statistics of drowning across the UK and communities. So this is in 2022, there were 226 accidental fatalities in the UK, of which 105 of them were during June, July and August. And that seems logical, doesn't it? Because they're, well, sometimes the times of year that are warmer, that people are more likely to jump into rivers, especially young people. Yeah, so 226 accidental fatalities. Of those 226 fatalities, 151 were in England, 45 were in Scotland, 22 in Wales and 8 in Northern Ireland. And inland waters such as rivers, canals, lakes, reservoirs and quarries continue to be the leading locations for accidental drowning, with 60% of deaths. Males are overrepresented. It's probably more likely for a guy to jump in, I don't know, with 83% of accidental fatalities. Recreational activities accounted for 58% of accidental fatalities. Inland open waters such as rivers, canals, lakes, reservoirs. I've just read that. They've repeated that. Yeah, and about the males, I think they've repeated. So 40% of people had no intention to enter the water, such as those walking, with causes including slips, trips and falls, which that's supposedly what happened to Nicola, according to the inquest. Having said that, she was walking somewhere she'd walked every day for years, and nobody else has ever slipped in. So that's what something I want to look at. Being cut off by the tide, I find tides quite scary, you know. I know, like a lot of people, haven't they? You can be on the beach and there's no water, and the next minute you can't get off because the tide comes in, or swept in by waves. So I just thought that was some interesting things to think about those statistics. And then it does go on to say what what you can do to support a drowning prevention day, etc. And it happens a lot here in Spain. A lot of people drown. And the trouble with the Mediterranean Sea is it looks so innocuous, and most of the time it is innocuous, you know, but there are some beaches here near where I am where every year there's quite a lot of people drown. There are some beaches you should never take to, and I sometimes worry about holidaymakers who come over because they don't know which are the dangerous beaches. There's one particular beach that every year people drown. There be adults, couples, go out too far, they get taken out too far. There's something about the currents at that particular beach, but it's not the only one. There's a couple of beaches with very strong undercurrents, and if you just get you know, and actually a friend of mine, her mother nearly drowned, came that close to drowning because she got swept out, and there's rocks over on one side, and her husband was trying to save her, but he realized that if she was grabbing him, because people who are drowning, they'll grab you, and you know, that's why there's a way where you've got to turn them round and sort of take them by the from, you know, to put your arm around them and drag them, because they're panicking and they can take both of you down. So he left her. I mean, it sounds awful, but and because also he realized people weren't realizing what was happening, you know. So he came into the you know, came in onto the sand, and there was a young guy, because you know, my friend's dad, he's not, I mean, he wasn't, you know, he was maybe in his 60s, and he was finding it difficult. Anyway, there was a young lad on the beach. Just when he realised what was happening, just went in straight away. And he obviously had some sort of training or whatever, and he brought my friend's mum back in, and she was fine. But that's how quick. And she didn't even, so the trouble is the tides or the waves or the currents or whatever, they take you off, you know. If you're sort of relaxing, the sunshine, it's lovely, you're on your back looking up, and then suddenly you look around and you think, oh my God, I've moved from there to over there. How did that happen? I've seen that, you know, that's happened to me. And suddenly she was near the rocks, and before she knew it, she nearly died. But anyway, she didn't. So it was a good result that day. So that's just some statistics about drowning. So, you know, at the end of the day, it happened. So looking at how many did they say? 226 in 2022. There were 226 accidental fatalities. So I don't know about, oh, well, it's not over yet, 2023. So, of course, Nicola will be included in one of those. Nicola, when the statistics come out at the end of the year for the next year's Drowning Prevention Day, one of those statistics will be Nicola. Bless her. God bless her. So I thought, right, well, I'm getting nowhere in the River Wyre's not getting mentioned. So let's actually look at an article that's like about the River Wyre. So what I did was I Googled, if you like, how many deaths have there been in the River Wyre, and this article came up. It was very interesting. Daily Mail as usual, because they said, now look at the headlines: the dark history of the River of the Wyre, river which may have claimed the life of Nicola Bulley, has seen other tragic drownings and an explosion which killed 16. Well, the explosion was nothing to do with the river, so they've linked in the explosion. That was nothing to do with the river, was it? But anyway, the mother of two, 45, vanished while walking her dog in St Michael's on Wyre. I do find it interesting to look back at these old articles, because looking back at them with what we know now, it gives it an extra significance, doesn't it? But the river has been the scene of a number of tragedies which rock the area. So it's been the scene of a number of... and then read more. Diving expert shares proof that Nicola Bulley didn't drown in the river. What was the proof? Sorry. So a diving expert who led the search for Nicola Bulley shares a video of a motionless river as proof the missing mother didn't fall in. That's got to be Peter Falding, hasn't it? So, yeah, a diving expert who led the hunt for missing Nicola Bulley claims he has video proof she did not fall into the water. The mother of two, 45, vanished while walking her dog Willow near the village of St Michael's on Wyre, Lancashire, at around 9:10 a.m. on January 27th. Detectives believe, so this was before Nicola had been found, obviously. Detectives believe she slipped into the River Wyre and drowned, but her loved ones have questioned this theory, saying there's no evidence whatsoever. Is this the video that he shared? Let's see. Yeah, I knew it'd be Peter Falding. World-renowned forensic diving expert Peter Falding. Oh, I'm not even sharing it, am I? Hang on. I hate that when I forget to share. Okay, you can see it now, I think. So, world-renowned forensic diving expert Peter Falding, who has worked on hundreds of cases with police, says a clip shows the river is slow-moving, meaning her body would have sunk very quickly and remained near to where she fell in. The 60-year-old also claimed she could simply have stood up if she had fallen in, as rocks by the bank would have only been under 2 foot of water at the time. Gosh, show you. Let's. Well, he shared this video. It's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. No wonder they didn't invite him to the inquest. Where would she? How could she have floated? No, I don't remember this video from before, him sharing this video. It's probably been deleted off his, I don't know.
I'm PC3410 Thackeray.
Oh, this is the video.
On secondment with the North.
This is the video by PC Plod.
I've been asked to record some of the features of the River Wyre near to Allotment Lane in relation to Nicola Bulley.
This is almost like a comedy, because if it wasn't so tragic, it'd be funny. So he's been sent back by the coroner to see if Nicola could have gone over the weir. And this was the video that he took. And it was made patently obvious. No.
Inquest. Today is Tuesday, the 4th of April, 2023. The time by my watch is 11:07. Currently stood at the bench where we believe Nicola was last before she may have entered the water. As you can see, as you go down to the river, it is quite a steep slope. The river is probably down about half a metre from...
What he doesn't mention is those were steps.
The day when we attended, when she went missing. As you can get to the bottom here, you can see there's quite a large step down into the water. Hopefully you can see on the screen there's a pile of rocks.
Well, look, I'm not going to play all that because, to be honest, I don't have time to have a class soon. But that video is on one of my videos on the playlist. That video in its entirety. You know, so I'm not going to play the whole thing now because it's 17 minutes. So, what was I saying? So, oh yeah. So That's right. We got distracted because I was thinking, what was that video that? So we were talking about the dark history, according to the Daily Mail, of the River Wyre. So let's go back to that original article because we got sidetracked with the video that Peter had shared. Okay. So, right, listen to this. I mean, this is just rubbish, I think. So the river has a notorious reputation. Almost 45 years. 45 years. So what they're saying is that 45 years ago, so nothing's happened in 45 years, it was the scene of a fatal crash which killed a teenage boy whose body floated down the river and wasn't found for months. It also claimed the life of a 2-year-old toddler who drowned a mile from where Miss Bulley was last seen. They've spelt seen wrong there, for goodness sake. This is mainstream media. And the river was the site of a horrific gas explosion which killed 16 people. I don't see how they have anything to do with what happened to Nicola. Because then when you look into it, it was a terrible tragedy, the Abbeystead waterworks disaster. But it wasn't because of the river. No, it wasn't somebody disappearing and presumed to have fallen into the river. Anyway, and then when you look at the map, so this is the River Wyre. So it's quite a long river as well. We've got where this happened to Roger Jones, who was the young lad who fell off the motorbike. So it's because it was a motorbike crash. He didn't slip in. He didn't fall in. It was nowhere near where Nicola Bulley fell in. It was an accident, a motorbike accident, how he ended up in the river. And, it's nothing to do with what happened to Nicola Bulley. And it was 45 years ago. The Abbeystead disaster was up here again. It was nothing to do with what happened to Nicola Bulley. Reese Mayburn, the little toddler, was 2 years old. And he disappeared from the campsite. No, I don't even know how that was investigated. Poor little boy. I mean, was it him just wandering off, or was there more suspicious circumstances? We don't know the full story. So I think, that is definitely just for, drama, like they accuse social media people of going for drama. But yeah. Anyway, so yeah, the waterworks, the Abbeystead disaster happened in 1984. A waterworks on the River Wyre exploded in a cataclysmic blast that levelled the facility, and a group of 44 people, many from St Michael's on Wyre, where Nicola Bulley was last seen, had been touring the plant, and unknown to them, a lethal amount of methane had built up in a pipe and was ignited. So what's that got to do with Nicola Bulley? Causing a huge fireball to rip through the underground complex. So what has that got to do with somebody slipping into the water accidentally? It's nothing to do with it. I mean, it's terrible, awful tragedy, but it's nothing to do with Nicola, sorry. So I don't see why they've even linked that. Then Roger Jones, the 16-year-old, was a pillion passenger on a friend's motorbike when the rider lost control on a narrow bridge. His body was thrown from the bike off a bridge upstream from where Nicola Bulley was last seen, and he was found 2 months later close to the mouth of the river. So what's that got to do with Nicola Bulley? He had an accident on his friend's motorbike. If that's what happened, who knows what really happened? So the rider lost control on a narrow bridge, and the teenager's body. So his body was thrown off the bike? What, was he already dead then? Do you see what they're saying here? The teenager's body was thrown from the bike off a bridge and was found 2 months later close to the mouth of the river. So the teenager's body was thrown. What does that? That's like he was already dead if that was his body. Do you know what? It's nothing to do with Nicola Bulley. Nothing like what happened to Nicola 45 years to the day before Miss Bulley vanished. Wow. He was a pillion passenger on a motorbike. It's nothing to do with Nicola Bulley. It happened nowhere near where it happened to Nicola Bulley. If we look at the map, the only coincidence, so she was walking her dog here. His friend was riding a bike over a bridge here. And the only coincidence is the day. It was the same day that she disappeared. But apart from that, I don't see why it's got anything to do with Nicola Bulley. Apparently, this is where he was thrown into. His body was thrown into, according to what they said earlier. Let's just have a look at. Let's have a look at the other photos. I do like looking at the photos. It's Nicola. Oh yes. Now and then, what was interesting as I was researching this, who pops up, because we're not seeing these videos for a while. Look at her. Now I've got, as I say, tomorrow night in the members, I've got some photos and videos to show you that will surprise you a bit, or maybe not. But this is the distraught friend, isn't it? Emma White, so distraught. Look at her eye makeup. I mean, seriously, that is serious. The more I see it, the more I realise how incongruous it is, because she's more concerned about what she looks like than she is this fantastic friend of hers.
So today it's 2 weeks since Nikki has gone missing. The community is once again united and come forth to try and drive some information.
So it's 2 weeks since Nikki has gone missing. I mean, I don't know that.
From this very gate. This is the gate that Nikki's gone into. We've got no dash cam footage, no visual people, so the police are crying out for any information on this gate and this part of the grove.
I'm not saying that Emma had anything to do with the disappearance of Nicola, because I just don't know. But what I would say is this: she's not bothered.
Which is Garstang Road and St Michael's on Wyre.
What has it been like for the family and friends, obviously, the last 2 weeks?
Yeah, as you can imagine, it's this roller coaster of emotions. We have hope there, we have sadness, it's torture, it's despair, it's frustration. You name those emotions. I said today I'm almost feeling a little bit.
Yeah, and that look on her face, it's very interesting watching her body language. It's very odd.
Numb today, 2 weeks on, but we still have that hope that today will bring something and we can bring those girls home to Paul and Nick.
Yeah, and she says they'll do something that can bring those girls home to Paul. That was a strange thing that she said at the time, because we don't know really the ins and outs of whatever was or wasn't going on there.
Yeah.
And how are Paul and the girls holding up?
Again, Paul's going to put a very brave face on for those girls, hasn't he? Where he can't crumble as well when Mummy's missing. Paul's got to remain very strong for them, but he's taking each day as it comes. Obviously, we're keeping normality. The children are at school, so Paul has that downtime to sadly think and reflect on what's going on.
Right. Okay. Are you happy with the police investigation, the way it's going?
To comment on.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so when he asked, are you happy with the police investigation and the way it's going, she said, I'm not prepared to comment on that.
But you're obviously pleased that Peter Faulding came out and did the
No, the efforts that the police and like Peter are doing. I mean, it was obviously Peter cemented the work that the police have done and confirmed that she's not in the river from the bench to the weir. So they're all singing from the same song sheet. The police are out in force doing things behind the scenes. We just need a different line of inquiry to give them something that they can go on and bring Nikki home.
Okay, that's it.
Yeah. Don't know what's happened there. I thought they would all be.
Descubrir los resultados reales de Advanced Veterinary Diets te costará menos de lo que piensas.
Okay. The brook next to where his glove was found Whose glove? The brook next to where his glove was found. Whose glove was? There was a glove found, but what do they mean by where his glove was found? Feeds a tributary of the River Brock, which then joins the River Wyre just before the village of St. Michael's. So I have no idea who they mean when they say the brook next to where his glove was found. Odd. Oh, whose glove? Maybe they mean the boy. I don't know. Anyway, so this is where the guy who came off the motorbike, where his body was found. This is where the little boy went missing, and this is where Nicola went missing. But there's a connection. And they tell us not to talk crap. There he is, Roger Jones. Bless him. Bless him, rest in peace. So the only similarity is that it was the same river, but I mean, I don't see that there was a similarity between the cases. They're completely different. You know, if they were going to say, oh, you know, another woman, well, what is the similarity? Roger Jones came off a motorbike and they're saying on there his body came, maybe he was already dead. Was he already dead? It's making me think, had he died in the accident and then his body got thrown over and they're just saying they didn't find his body for quite a while? I don't know. I don't know. Oh, yeah, they found only one of his gloves on the banking. Oh, see, you look into it. So the rider was knocked unconscious. So emergency crews didn't realise he'd had a passenger. So he went into the river, but it wasn't until 3 a.m. that they went looking for him because they didn't know there was anybody else at first. They've gone and got the driver, the rider. And they didn't find him for all that time. But of course, he was further, he was at a different point in the river. He was nearer to the more, you know, where they were thinking originally, they were worrying that she might get swept out to sea, but anyway, she wasn't. But so his family believed the tragedy could help explain Miss Bulley's fate. Sorry, I don't think so. Oh, because they were thinking that she might have been swept out to sea. Nah. But anyway, I expect it brought it all back to Roger Jones's family. So, you know, prayers for them as well, because it'll still be raw because he was such a young boy. And then they had to identify him. Bless. Yeah, it's brought it all back to them. Bless. Right, let's have a look at the 2-year-old boy, Reese Maybury. So he drowned on May the 1st, 2000, after he disappeared from the River Wyre Caravan Park, Mains Lane, Singleton. His body was found on a sandbank in the... See, don't forget that Nicholas wasn't found. There are some patches of the river round about where she was that are practically sandbanks, but she wasn't found there. Anyway, so this little boy, this little baby, a 2-year-old boy, was found on a sandbank in the shadows of Shard Bridge, half a mile downstream near the foot of the Shard Bridge, just 7 miles upstream from where Nicola Bulley went missing. But you see, they're trying to make a connection. How is that a connection? That was in 2000. That was 23 years ago. So basically what they're trying to do is draw connections between something that happened 45 years ago, something that happened 23 years ago, which were nothing like what happened to Nicola at all. And that's it. That's all that's happened in the River Wyre. So it's not a dangerous river. So in 23 years, nothing's happened. And then so Jed Lynch, see, this just makes it. Sometimes I think, do they decide what they think's happened and then make a hypothesis to fit? Because he said, even though it was hot weather, a bank holiday, and it was hot weather, the water temperature of the River Wyre, which he doesn't say what it was low enough to cause hypothermia. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a 2-year-old boy, so it probably wouldn't take much. But did they investigate that death? I mean, did they investigate it? You know, sometimes you think with the Lancashire police, you know, if they find a body with a dagger through its heart and they'll say, oh, it's no foul play or whatever, you know. Now, that may well have been just an accident. Of course, 2-year-olds wandered off. Can happen in a moment, can't it? We know that. Any of us that have had toddlers, you know, they're fast. They move fast. And before you know it, they're gone. And yeah, he, bless him, he could have ran off and ended up in the poor Reese in the river. But it must have been investigated, I suppose. But you know, other things can happen in caravan parks and things, as we've seen recently with Charlotte over in America. You know, children get snatched, don't they? So I wonder what sort of investigation was done. Presumably there was a post-mortem, etc. Presumably there were no other injuries, you know, unlike Nicola, who's covered in bruises, but nothing to see here though. So interesting, isn't it? Let's just have a little look at that. Oh, there's only 4 comments. Oh, see, someone there has said, what has this got to do with anything that's happening now? All places have history. This doesn't mean this is where Nicola's met her fate. I really hope she's found safe and soon. So the river 45 years ago was a foot higher and turbulent. That would have made a huge difference. I have visited the River Wyre. Oh no, he's saying why? No, he's got it wrong. It's the Wyre. I live in the area. The River Wyre does not have a notorious reputation, and the Abbeystead disaster was well documented as major. The Abbey. Oh, that we're no longer accepting comments on this article. I bet they've got millions of comments. The Abbeystead disaster is nothing to do with what happened to Nicola. It's not drowning. It wasn't. Well, I don't know what I clicked then. I was looking to see if I could see any more. Oh, I think I've clicked thumb down, but anyway, never mind. I didn't mean that because I actually agree with her. Ah, it won't let me take it off now. Oh, that's a bit crafty. I wanted to press light, not light, but anyway. So yeah, so it's just not true. So that's what I found when I tried to look. That's the only, you know, so it started off with this article from this sort of expert saying that the world's most dangerous stretch of water is this river in Yorkshire, etc. And that just led me to sort of look into other rivers and particularly into the history of the Wyre. And from what I can see, the River Wyre has not got a dangerous history. There was just one other thing that I wanted to, let's see. Yeah, and then, oh, I wonder who this was, because here's somewhere in the Daily Express has said there's a stretch of the River Wyre is notoriously dangerous. But how is it notoriously dangerous and nobody has died there? Do you know, it's just not true. something is dangerous when, you know, people have accidents there or die there or whatever. You know, it's like you could, there's stretches of road, aren't there? And there's when you say they're notoriously dangerous, you don't mean there's been one accident there 45 years ago and another one 20 years ago. That wouldn't make a stretch of road notoriously dangerous. We've got a stretch of road near here where just in the 25 years that I've lived here, I've known of at least 5 deaths on that road and various accidents that didn't result in death. That's notoriously dangerous. The River Wyre is not notoriously dangerous. Now, maybe Nicola did slip in and maybe it was accidental death. I don't think so. I know a lot of you don't think so. And I'm sorry, the inquest did not prove to me that that is what happened. The inquest, in fact, proved the opposite. That film by P.C. Thackeray proved the opposite, that how could it have happened? So it made people more dubious, not less. And then, of course, there was the inquest itself, the results of the post-mortem, or the bruising, the man in black, you know, the screams. You feel like you're just repeating yourself over and over again, but it doesn't make these things go away. And people can call people ghouls as much as they want. It will not make the facts go away. So, okay, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're a member and you're watching this when this video is going out on the 4th of October, if you're a member, it's the members live tomorrow. I've got some more Emma, some more news about Emma. And of course, don't forget your masks. If you remember, just send me a photo of you in a mask. It can be any mask. Totally anonymous, you know, it's just a bit of fun. Like, we talk about serious subjects, but we try and have a bit of fun as well, because you know what, these serious subjects, they're still serious, they've still happened. If we can lighten up life a little bit, because life sometimes it's a slog, isn't it? You know, it's hard work, you know, terrible things happen and it can make you feel down, and you know, so we need to also, that's what the membership channel is about. My channel in general, to be honest, is like that. My chat is nice, whether it's members only or subscribers or whatever it is. There's never really anything horrible in my chat. But the members only chat is special because, you know, they are real like-minded people, and we're supportive towards each other. So I will see you tomorrow. Now, well, I'll probably see you before. I will see you before tomorrow, because there's a live going out tonight on Shannon Matthews, which is not a members only live. It's a public live. I'll be talking about Shannon Matthews and the fake kidnapping, if you like, of Shannon Matthews. And I think it's appropriate to look at that at this time, after we've just seen this sort of strange kidnapping in New York. That I'm not saying it's fake. I don't think it was fake. I'm saying, but it has got some similarities to Shannon Matthews, because the man who had the little girl was a bit of a strange guy, and we're going to find out tonight what has happened to the guy that was holding Shannon Matthews. A bit more about like the actual, how it was, you know, in that house. While he was sort of holding Shannon, but not mistreating her. Anyway, that's for tonight. So for now, thank you so much. Please, if you haven't liked the video already, please like the video, and I will see you very soon. As always, don't walk too close to rivers and things. Don't try jumping over rivers or any of those things, and be very careful. Live and love very carefully. I'll see you very soon in the next video, and until then, may your God go with you. Thank you.